This is the Dewalt DCF902 3/8 drive impact wrench. This is brand new from Dewalt. It's 12 volt XTREME. I think it's called XTREME series of tools. And it is 3/8 drive with a hogring anvil. Has the 3 LED lights. It's supposed to have 200 foot-pounds of torque. 3 speeds on the control here. This is my first time actually using one of these 12 volt Dewalt batteries, and it does have the indicator on the front, and you can see I don't understand why Dewalt makes their batteries like this, where you have to hold the button down to get the lights to light up, and there's no delay. Everyone else has a delay of a couple seconds. You press it, the lights stay on, so you can see them easily. Here, if you're in an awkward position or bad lighting, it can be hard to see. So I don't know why they do that with all their batteries, but it is what it is. And so what I wanted to say, it does have a forward and reverse, 3 LED lights. Don't know if I said that. And it is variable trigger if you've never used one of these impacts. Easy to control. So what I wanted to say is it's supposed to have 200 foot-pounds of torque, but this thing, I think, is really dependent on the battery being fully charged. Once this battery starts to drain, it really loses power quickly, and it struggles. Like, it could barely take off a 12 millimeter bolt, and those are tiny bolts, so it really struggles, and it's really dependent on this battery being fully charged to really have any kind of useful power. So what I would say is, for in around the engine bay, little nuts and bolts, works great. You can see in the video it took off those Accord strut top nuts, no problem. Some throttle body bolts, no problem. Even some, I think, engine mount bolts, it was able to take them off. And in the interior, this thing would be perfect. It's tiny, just as big as an impact driver, and it's super lightweight with that little battery. And some 3/8 chrome sockets would be perfect on this thing. So perfect for interior. Once you start to get outside of the car and maybe caliper bolts and that kind of stuff, it really needs that fully charged battery, and it just doesn't have a lot of power to overcome any kind of big rust or anything like that. So I don't see this doing like 14 millimeter suspension bolts or 17s. It's just not going to do it. And but for the interior stuff, little stuff, this is perfect, just because it's weight. Awesome weight. I don't know if they make this style, like smaller impact like this with an 18 volt battery, but I'm gonna check and see, because it's just a nice weight, easy to use. Other than that, what I noticed is this hog ring, it's the same. I don't know what they're doing over there, or who they source these hog rings from, but again, just like the DCF899, the half-inch drive, the sockets are getting hung up on this hog ring, and that was an issue with that impact, and it's happening again. This thing's brand new, and the socket will get stuck right at the hog ring, and that shouldn't happen. So yeah, I'm not sure why that's the issue with the Dewalt hog rings, but it is, again, with this little gun. And other than that, yeah, check out the video. And I think this is the first Dewalt I've reviewed since the DCF899, and that video has, like, I think, what, 600,000 views or something like that. So check that one out too. That's a great impact wrench. All right, later. So the question is, will this take off lug nuts? And you can see in this video clip with this Honda Civic, these are lug nuts that are torqued to 80 foot-pounds, and they are on and off, maybe twice a year. And I know they're torqued because I torque them myself. So this thing took them off no problem. But if you're taking off random lug nuts off different cars, that you don't know for work or whatever, it's hit and miss when you're dealing with these 200 foot-pound impact wrenches. If you watch that Tenwa impact wrench video, you'll see it took off 3 lug nuts, and I think it got stuck on 4th one. So you just never know with 200 foot-pounds. That's really the limit. Where, when it comes to lug nuts, if it will take them off or not, you just don't know. So I'm gonna maybe add some more clips here of lug nuts and see what this thing will do, and we'll check it out and see. But I wouldn't buy this if you're counting on this to be a reliable lug nut remover for vehicles except your own, where they are torqued to 80 or 90 or whatever. But I don't see, if your lug nuts are torqued to 150, I just don't see this thing taking them off reliably.